For more than 40 years, East Tennesseans have trusted Madisonville Marine. They offer great prices, terrific customer service, and the biggest selection of boats in the area. Boats like the G3 Sportsman, featuring sturdy construction and superior features. These perfect fishing boats were designed with wide deck space, plenty of storage, and a smart layout. And they also deliver more fun per gallon than anything else on the water. See for yourself at Madisonville Marine. There's no better place to buy a boat.
The following is a presentation of Fox 43 Sports.
You are watching the Sports Source Kickoff with John Pennington, presented by Madisonville Marine.
Good Saturday morning and welcome into the Sports Source Kickoff presented by Madisonville Marine. As you just heard there, we're going to be with you for the next 15 weeks, or 14, something like that. For the rest of the football season, we'll be right here every Saturday morning at 10:30 on Fox 43. We appreciate them for bringing you this show and for allowing us onto their air. I want to dive right into this thing, so let's just start by telling you a little bit more about Madisonville Marine. Folks, when it comes to finding the right boat for your needs, you just need to make one stop. That's because they have more different makes and models of boats than anyone else in the area. They have a track record that goes back 40 to 45 years. They are spectacular. There's no better place to buy a boat than Madisonville Marine. You can trust me on that. All right, I want to welcome in the panel for today. We have Jimmy Himes right here, former Vol Will Overstreet, former Vol Lamarcus Thompson joining us this year, and Mike Griffith right down there. Gentlemen, thank you to all of you for being here today. Tennessee has to get ready to play a flexbone offense on Monday night. For those people who think, it's Georgia Tech, let's take a look at some numbers, shall we? In terms of what Tennessee did last year in terms of their defense, ranked 104 nationally in rush defense. Georgia Tech, well, they ranked 9th in rush offense. Tennessee allowed 2,800 rushing yards last year. Georgia Tech ran for 3,300. 8 of Tennessee's 13 foes went for at least 180 rushing yards. 4 of 13 went for 350 or more. Georgia Tech, on the other hand, they ran for 250 yards or more in 8 of their 13 games. They went for 289 in a win over Vandy, 226 in a win over Georgia, and 266 in a win over Kentucky. In other words, they beat up on the SEC East and they ran all over them. Gentlemen, your thoughts? We say ready or not there. Tennessee ready or not for this flexbone attack?
Gosh, I guess we'll find out, but I think it's a huge challenge. You've seen what Georgia Tech did. You mentioned it, 3-0 against the SEC last year. They've also won 5 of the last 6 against the SEC. And now Tennessee, which has had a lot of time to prepare, they're actually moving some personnel around to adjust. They've had an injured middle linebacker, which is key, but they've also moved some people around to try to help. Don't be surprised if Rashawn Golden ends up playing some at cornerback instead of nickel. So I think it's a big challenge for Tennessee.
Lamarcus, you went up against the flexbone. When you were at Tennessee, people remember the big win over California. And then the very next week was a very close call right down to the wire, 1 or 2 point win, 1 point win over Air Force, who ran a flexbone offense. Your thoughts on this style of offense?
Biggest thing about this style of offense is basically you have to be disciplined on everything that's going on in this offense. The biggest mistake that you can go into this game is basically undermining and thinking that this offense is not going to go and come out and execute. Georgia Tech's going to have 3 new offensive starters on their offensive line there, so that's going to be a big key. If any time I would want probably this offense would be the beginning, you know what I mean, because you won't have to worry about so much execution flaws. You might have 1 or 2 of those on offense, so that'd be a big key in this game.
Your thoughts on option offenses, Will?
Yeah, I never want to play them. I mean, I never would want to schedule them. The guy that schedules this game, you're going to go, please leave, because
and he did.
Exactly.
He heard it no longer here.
Exactly. He heard my call, but before it happened. But no, listen, I mean, in general, you really don't like this team because you only are practicing for this offense for this one game. No one else is going to run it on your schedule unless you play somebody in the bowl game, something like this. The option is tough because players on defense want to be athletic and they want to get to the ball and make a play. What this option makes you do is basically sit there and tackle a guy without a ball over and over and over again. And what happens is that middle linebacker or outside linebacker that's like, I haven't made a tackle today, the guy with the ball, all of a sudden starts leaning. And the coach upstairs goes, time to run this play. And that's when they, basically break it through right there. So it is a discipline from start to finish because as soon as you start guessing, that's when that play comes in that they're going to score and make a big play on.
Right, and you know, Will, if they can stay ahead of the chains and put you in those 2nd and 5 situations as a defense, you've got to guess. And that's why the key to this game is going to be Tennessee's defensive line. If Tennessee gets beat at the line of scrimmage and Georgia Tech is able to gash for 3, 5, 7 yards, make those safeties and DBs play up, cheat up, get them trained, get them expecting the run, that's when they go over the top. But if Tennessee is able to control the defensive line, that's the key, then you put Georgia Tech in more predictable situations, 2nd and 10, 2nd and 9.
Let me go ahead, for those of you that aren't familiar with the flex bone, let's go ahead and put up what their basic formation looks like. Paul Johnson has been running this thing for years. If we have that graphic, there we go. He's been running this thing for years, even back to when he was at Navy. It's a spread. I mean, he spreads it out with the receivers as far out there as you can get. But basically, you get 3. He wants to make the defense choose, and he's got 3 options. Those of you familiar with option offense get this. But you've got the B-back right there that can be the dive play. You've got the quarterback option where you can run out wide or pitch to one of the A-backs. One other thing when you're watching this team, you're going to notice, well, their offensive line doesn't look big. I mean, Paul Johnson likes, because they're mobile, he's got to get guys that are built more like converted tight ends than your traditional maulers on the offensive line. Jimmy, your thoughts on Paul Johnson over the years running this offense at such a high percentage? I mean, he does a good job with it.
Yeah, it's very efficient, and he did it at Georgia Southern. He did it at Navy. He's had that success at Georgia Tech. I think he's won 9 games 4 times in his 9 years at Georgia Tech. It's tough. He's a very good play caller at setting things up. We heard Bob Shoop, Tennessee's defensive coordinator, talk about that earlier this week. And the thing he'll do also with the quarterback is he'll take that quarterback and run him right behind the fullback going up the middle. He'll do that a lot, lull you to sleep, then go over the top. So he's really good at setting things up. And the thing to watch, so that I'll be curious about, is you got a new quarterback. That is such a timing offense. How good is the timing going to be in game 1?
And they've been playing games with who's going to play quarterback as well. So Tennessee's been kind of, we got a competition going. Georgia Tech's been playing a little bit of that themselves. Let me ask my 2 defenders here, one the linebacker, one the defensive end. What are you looking at when you're out there against that offense?
I mean, really, kind
What's
of
your
how
key?
does this defense play up against it? Are they going to tell their guys to be reading most of this game, or are they going to tell them, this is your guy, tackle him and hit him? Don't worry about where the ball is. Personally, in my opinion, I go with that play and say, take the guesswork out of it. On this play, you're hitting the quarterback whether he's got the ball or not. You lay him out over and over again.
I definitely agree with Will. Definitely go in there and, like I said, take out the first person that comes in, because it takes out the guessing work. Because, like I said, of course, that offense is a lot of smoke and mirrors there. So without having to worry about that there.
Yep.
Based on what we saw last year from Bob Shoop, do you think he will take that easier approach?
I don't know. I mean, we talked about last year, the first year with the new defense, there were definitely problems of too much complexity being put in, because you saw guys before the ball was being snapped still trying to move around, wrong place, wrong position. So have they cut that down? Has the learning gone up? Yeah, I'd probably say so. It's just a matter of, do you get too cute with this and, like I said, and try to out-trick them or anything? This is the kind of offense that you want to go in and just say, play the basics. Our guys are going to beat their guys in the one-on-one matchup, and they got to do that.
Will, I get the feeling that that's what they've done. Brady Hoke's come on the staff. He's got a lot of experience against this. Don't forget Charlton Warren from the Air Force Academy. He was the defensive coordinator, but he practiced against triple option every day, so he's got a really good idea what he's doing. The interesting thing to me that Tennessee's done, and they kind of put their cards down yesterday and said, this defense that they're going to play against Georgia Tech is unique to this game. After this game, you will see guys move to different positions, but they've put an inordinate amount of time into this game, probably 15% of their practice time, 20% of their practice time, setting up a defense specifically for this one game. One more reason, like you said, Will, that whoever scheduled this game ought to be fired or resign.
It's not for 2 reasons. Not only are you having to prepare for something, you've wasted time for the rest of your season, but as I mentioned earlier, this is a team that cut blocks quite a bit. And you've had injuries along your defensive line. That's going to be one to watch. If you're a Tennessee fan going into this game, you've had some leg injuries on that D-line. How well are they going to hold up against the Georgia Tech team that cut blocks left and right?
Justin Harrell in the Air Force game, when I brought this game up to Philip Fulmer, that's the first thing that he mentioned, Jimmy, and he said he would have never scheduled this game.
And it makes you wonder if Shy Tuttle will play,
Yeah,
even if ready.
Yeah, my guess is no, but who knows? They may need him. All right. When we come back, folks, we're going to talk 2 key areas for Tennessee. There have been some injury suspensions that raise some questions at offensive line and along the front seven on defense. We'll discuss when we come back on the Sports Source Kickoff presented by Madisonville Marine.
From games to weddings to parties, and from executive travel to a night on the town, Chariots of Hire is the simplest, most cost-effective, safest way to turn an event into a lasting memory. Their dozens of vehicles allow you to select the perfect ride for your need, and their superior service guarantees you'll arrive in style. More options, more drivers, more experience. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing right. Chariots of Hire.
For more than 40 years, East Tennesseans have trusted Madisonville Marine. They offer great prices, terrific customer service, and the biggest selection of boats in the area. Boats like G3 John boats, built Gator tough. G3 Johns include all the features you could want from a workhorse boat. Massive live well capacity, lockable storage, even a midship fuel tank that allows for smoother running. See for yourself at Madisonville Marine. There's no better place to buy a boat.
Golden opportunity is defined as an especially good chance. At Lexus of Knoxville, there's no chance about it. The Golden Opportunity Sales Event is your opportunity to lease a new Lexus with zero down and zero do-it signing. Lease the 2017 Lexus NX 200T, $399 a month. 2017 Lexus RX 350, $489 a month, both with zero down and zero do-it signing. And every new Lexus comes with our lifetime warranty at no charge. Now through Labor Day at Lexus of Knoxville, the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Your opportunity to drive a Lexus and experience amazing.
Have you been hurt in a car wreck? Bill Hodson Associates, the car wreck attorneys, have helped thousands of people all over Knoxville and East Tennessee.
From downtown to the duck pond, Broadway has about 30 traffic lights. In our 30 years, we've helped people hurt at most of these intersections, and we're ready to help you right now.
Experience you can trust. Bill Hodson Associates.
When it comes to your business, no one provides better security and life safety systems than Safety Systems. Protect your employees, your products, and your records with a single phone call. Professional technicians ready to design, install, and monitor your cutting-edge fire and security systems. Electric locks and surveillance cameras. Emergency and after-hours response and repairs. Trust Safety Systems, East Tennessee's leader in security and life safety systems.
And welcome back into the Sports Source Kickoff. This segment of our show brought to you by Chariots of Hire. Folks, if you're going to a UT football game, be smart. Do it upright. Whether it's a sedan, an SUV, a limo if you want to look particularly cool, motor coach for you and a bunch of your friends, Chariots of Hire can turn a game into a lasting memory. They handle the traffic while you and your friends just enjoy the game. Chariots of Hire. Make it a lasting memory. All right. Want to show you what we've got coming up here in this segment where we're talking about defensive front seven, but also I want to start with the offensive line. And Jimmy, if you'll hold that, there have been some switches. This is the two deep as listed by Tennessee this week, but already Drew Richmond suspended, gone. He's out. Who's moving where?
Tatum to left tackle. I mean, Kendrick.
Kendrick to left tackle. Tatum steps up at right tackle. This isn't easy to do. I'll remember this for the second show. There we go. All right, now, you look at that. This whole offseason, all anybody talked about, well, the strength's going to be the offensive line. And then you didn't have any continuity during the fall practice because you've had people hurt. You've got guys moving around here. Tatum, people remember, had to come on, burn his red shirt last year against Alabama. That didn't go too well, but of course, there are a lot of fifth-year seniors who can't do well against Alabama. Thoughts on the offensive line? Let's get another tight shot of that if we could. Thoughts on Kendrick, Jack Jones at left guard, Jashawn Robertson instead of Coleman Thomas at center, freshman Trey Smith, and then Tatum at right tackle. Thoughts on the offensive line compared to where you thought they might be?
It's a blow, but I will say this. Tennessee has known for a while that Richmond wasn't playing, so they have been able to practice around that some. So that's helped a little bit, but I still think it's a blow not having Richmond out there.
See, I learned from last year, because last year going into the season, people said the offensive line was going to be a strength as well. It was not a strength. If anything, it was a complete and total weakness for the entire season. You just had better athletes that made it look good at times. So I didn't go into this year saying there's going to be a strength. This team has to prove this offensive lineman can dominate a team like Appy State even before I say this is ever going to be a strength for this coaching staff and for this team.
Guys, one of the things that we noticed, literally we talked about at the Appy State game, that post-game show, is it too early to talk about the strength and conditioning coach? Well, it wasn't. And they've gone out and they've hired a strength and conditioning coach in Rock Gullickson. We've had the changes there in personnel from shifts. How much of a difference do you think Rock Gullickson in building up that offensive line, how much can that help the line? Because last year they got pushed around by Appy State. Now you've got a different strength guy in there, but it's only been one off season. How much of a difference do you think that's going to make in the offensive line this year? Either one of you.
That's definitely a huge difference because, just going into seeing those guys go and work out. I've been to the facilities a few times and I've seen, their strength coach and their strength program and how they're working and their work ethic. That's a huge difference as far as, ligaments and things of that nature there, because you got to keep those things strong and keep those keep them flexible. Yeah. That's another big thing there. So he's done a good job over there at getting those guys ready and prepared for this season there.
Yeah,
Mike, though, can you?
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with what you're saying, and you definitely see a different commitment from these guys. They've changed their diet, they look better, but look, you've changed the strength coach, you've changed the position coach, you've changed your diet. At some point, you got to measure these guys by their heart. And I know that sounds cliche, but it comes down to, are you tough enough? Are you strong? It's not a talent issue. We saw the stars in recruiting. This comes down to whether or not that Tennessee offensive line toughens up or plays soft. Nobody wants to hear it. People get upset when you use that word, but it is what it is. They've been pushed around by lesser opponents, and they got to step up because there's nowhere to hide Monday night. The nation's going to be looking. It's not the head coach. It's not the strength coach. It's not the weight coach. It's on these seniors right now.
I agree it's on the seniors, but I can tell you right now, a lot of fans out there are going to say, no, it's all on the head coach. If it doesn't go well, you can say it's the players, and it's true, but Butch Jones is going to catch most of the heat for not having his players ready. You know that. All right, want to take a look at the front seven now, if we can get that up there. There we go. Now, you've had the change there with Kirkland out at middle linebacker. Now Colton Jumper becomes the most important guy defensively, I would think. Shai Tuttle is listed there. My guess is he won't play, but he could. But you look at the front seven, concerns about putting Colton Jumper in there. And then you look at, if they go 4-3, you look at your Smith and Batuli on the right, you just have a lot of guys that aren't proven at this level yet.
Well, you're right about that, and that is a concern. I think Jumper is going to be okay in the middle. He is not. His forte is not playing out in space. And so to keep him in the middle, I think that helps. But you also have Smith, who may start at outside linebacker. He's inexperienced. And you don't have a lot of depth on that defensive line, which was a concern a year ago.
And let's also put it this way. The option works really against that defensive end, right? And you got two new defensive ends. I mean, they've got some experience, but these aren't starters that have played a lot of football and have a lot of experience, and they definitely don't have a lot of experience going up against this type of offense. And that's really where this quarterback is going to be leaning on, and he's going to be reading. So those guys got to have great games to stop this option.
Especially a guy like Kongbo, who hasn't even been playing football that long.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
And that's why I agree to what you were saying earlier, that we should have certain keys. Tee off on the first person that comes to you.
Yep.
So that makes it a lot easier for those guys. And I also think that Colton's going to be okay simply because he's still a senior football player. He's had a lot of time in the game. So even though speed might be a factor, he should know the steps and he should know the right keys to go ahead and get to that ball quickly.
Well, if you remember, he had a really good game last year against Florida, so it's possible. He is a year older. They bragged on him all off season here. But I think Jimmy touched on it. We talked about it a little in between segments here. Where you worry about him getting exploited is in the passing game. Yeah. So you're not going to see that against Georgia Tech. I'd be surprised if Georgia Tech throws the ball more than 10 to 15 times in this game, unless they fall behind. Will, I want to ask you, though. We talked about cut blocking from the offense.
Yeah.
All right, as a former defensive lineman, how do you handle that?
Well, there's a couple different ways. The one way is you go out there and you basically do it right back to them and you say, we can both play this game a little bit and I can pile you up right here.
So take a flag just to send the message?
Well, I don't get a flag for cutting you. There's no rule for me cutting you on that either. And there's also no rule for a chop block by two defensive guys, really and truly. They won't call that. So you can enforce it out there that if somebody's playing dirty, you and the guy next to you can have a play or two and basically just awaken them to the same thing can happen to you. We'll take ourselves out of a play to make that message clear.
Cut blocking, Mark Stoops last year in the bowl game, he got in a shouting match across the field at Georgia Tech for the cut blocks. As defensive guys, I'm going to guess you think that is dirty. but cut blocks are legal. It's chop blocks that are illegal. You still consider it a dirty way to play?
The open field cut blocks are the worst. Basically, at the line, you can deal with that as long as it's not a chop block guy holding you and the other guy coming out and taking you out. But the open field ones where you have a running back running full speed at you, that was the dive guy, and all of a sudden he's going at your knees 100 miles an hour. Those, I think those are kind of not the way in the spirit of the game, and they end up getting a lot of people hurt. I think that's a play that should be looked at as, do you really need this at this point in time? Because it is just such a devastating play at times. It's really kind of unfair for the defender.
Okay, when we come back, who's going to win this game, Tennessee or Georgia Tech? We'll tell you who we got and why. And Mike Griffith, I'll start with you since you didn't get a second question in that round. Come on back on the Sports Source Kickoff presented by Madisonville Marine.
When it comes to your home, no one provides better security and audio-video systems than Safety Systems. Control everything using your tablet or smartphone, whether it's a hidden TV or the temperature in your home. Lighting, doors that open and close, lock and unlock, cameras that allow you to watch your home from wherever you may be, all at the touch of a button. Trust Safety Systems, East Tennessee's leader in security and audio-video systems.
For more than 40 years, East Tennesseans have trusted Madisonville Marine. They offer great prices, terrific customer service, and the biggest selection of boats in the area. Boats like Suncatcher pontoons, ultra luxurious, sophisticated, and stylish. You won't find a more family-friendly pontoon boat, all with cutting-edge technology designed to enhance the quality of your time on the water. See for yourself at Madisonville Marine. There's no better place to buy a boat.
Have you been hurt in a car wreck? Bill Hodson Associates, the car wreck attorneys, have helped thousands of people all over Knoxville and East Tennessee.
Two of America's busiest interstate highways intersect in Knoxville. Interstate speed keeps traffic moving, but it can also result in terrible wrecks. We've helped a lot of people hurt in these wrecks, and we're ready to help you right now.
Experience you can trust. Bill Hodson Associates.
Golden opportunity is defined as an especially good chance. At Lexus of Knoxville, there's no chance about it. The Golden Opportunity Sales Event is your opportunity to lease a new Lexus with 0 down and 0 due at signing. Lease the new Lexus IS Turbo, just $399 a month. New Lexus ES 350, $419 a month, both with 0 down and 0 due at signing. And every new Lexus comes with our lifetime warranty at no charge. Now through Labor Day at Lexus of Knoxville, the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Your opportunity to drive a Lexus and experience amazing.
From games to weddings to parties, and from executive travel to a night on the town, Chariots of Hire is the simplest, most cost-effective, safest way to turn an event into a lasting memory. Their dozens of vehicles allow you to select the perfect ride for your need, and their superior service guarantees you'll arrive in style. More options, more drivers, more experience. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing right. Chariots of Hire.
Welcome back into the Sports Source Kickoff. This segment presented by Lexus of Knoxville. Right now through Labor Day, you can take advantage of the Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event. You can lease, get this, you can lease a brand new Lexus with 0 down, 0 due at signing. Terrific 2017 Lexus leases for under $500, some under $400. That's a pretty good price. Lexus of Knoxville. Get out there, check them out this week. It's their Golden Opportunity Sales Event going through Labor Day. So you can go get your new car, then drive home and watch the Vols play on Monday night. All right, back with Jimmy, Will, LaMarcus, and Mike. And Mike, I'm going to start with you. Well, first of all, there we go. I almost forgot our director's already ahead of me. Tomorrow, I want to remind people, we start year 15, 15th season of the Sports Source. We will be previewing the Georgia Tech game, but we're going to do it in a little different way, and we've got 56 guys, as you can see there. It's our usual madhouse in here on Sunday, 11 a.m. over on Channel 6. And I appreciate Fox 43 and WATE 6 for allowing us to do our shows in 2 different spots and cross-promotion. That's two really good stations allowing me to do that. All right, Mike Griffith, I'm going to start with you. Who wins this ball game and why? Tennessee, Georgia Tech.
I'm going to take Tennessee in this game, John, and the reason why is intangibles. You know, the one thing that Butch Jones has done consistently well at Tennessee is coach up the special teams, and Evan Berry is a game changer. He's playing in Atlanta. He's playing in that stadium. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I think he, more than any player in the country, is the biggest special teams game changer when he turns it on. He was first in the nation in kick returns 2 years ago. He was second when he got injured last November. He's been day-to-day getting treatment, but he's been zeroed in on this game. I'm taking Tennessee because I think Evan Berry is going to do something special.
All right. LaMarcus Thompson, who are you going with and why?
I'm going to take Tennessee. I mean, simply because, well, right now they have the line at 3. Basically, there's going to the little thing's going to happen as far as what's going to offense is going to do. Is it going to score out fast? Or are they going to start really slow? That's going to be a big factor in this game. If the offense does start slow, you're going to keep Georgia Tech in this game as far as their rush and attack offense. If they do, Tennessee gets up on Georgia Tech. Of course, it'll probably put it away. You're going to have a lot of sacks on defense. So I'm going to take Tennessee in this thing.
Willie Raincloud, what do you got, Mr. Overstreet?
I've thought back and forth on this a couple times, and it is a hard one to choose because you have so many unknowns coming out in this game of guys that hadn't played a lot of football. I'm just going to say it's going to be Tennessee in this game. I'm not real confident in that because I can see it going either way. I think regardless, it's going to be a dirty win. It's going to be a close game. It is not going to be something where everybody's going, wow, look at us, and we blew it out. I think more than anything, people are going to be worrying about this season after this game. I don't think they should because I think it's more about this team going up against the option, and that's what's going to cause it to be the way it looks at the end of the day.
All right, Jimmy, who you going with?
I've got Tennessee in the 27 to 24 range. I like Tennessee for 2 reasons. One, I think Tennessee's got more good athletes. I think that's a part of it. The other thing is Tennessee's got 14 players from the Atlanta area. They got more than 20 players from Georgia. I think that's a factor. I heard Nigel Warrior talk about, I never got to play in the Georgia Dome because only a team playing in the state championship got to play in the Georgia Dome. Now I'm getting to play in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I think that matters to these players. I don't think they want to go back to Georgia with a loss pinned on them by Georgia Tech. So I think that's another motivating factor. But I think Tennessee wins by field goal.
I think it's going to be an incredibly close game. I'm surprised that I'm the only one that's going to do this, but I'm going Georgia Tech. I said, we talked about all offseason, the over-under for this team is 7.5, I think, in terms of wins. And I went 7. So the swing game is Georgia Tech. I think Tennessee has more talent. It's just not proven. You've got, while you have a lot of your tacklers back, while you have a lot of guys who made plays last year or who played last year back, you don't have the key star at those positions. Your quarterback, brand new. Your top running back's John Kelly. What have you got behind him? You've got a new wide receiver that's going to have to fill in for Josh Malone. Somebody's going to pick up that pace. Now, Juwan Jennings, you expect him to be good, but who's down that list? Now, Georgia Tech has question marks too. There's no question about that. But I will take Georgia Tech in a very close game, like 31-28, that kind of a thing. I think both these offenses are going to be able to move the ball. But I'll take Georgia Tech. In terms of the quarterback situation, your thoughts on how they should be used on Monday night. Do you go in and say, Dormity's my guy, unless there's a stumble, then we'll bring in Garantano? Or do you say, no, we're going to have a plan to where the first 2 series are Dormity, then Garantano? How do you handle it?
I would start Dormity, and my deal is if he's hot and he's playing well and they're scoring, I'm leaving him in. I expect 2 quarterbacks to eventually play. I do. But if Dormity leads Tennessee on a scoring drive on the first 3 possessions and it's 21-14, you going to take him out? I'm not.
Yeah.
So I'm going to more play it by ear a little bit, but I'm going to go with Dormity until I got reason not to.
Everybody agree with that?
Yeah, I don't believe in just giving another guy a shot if it's working, right? I mean, if it's working, your guy, and that's who you think is the #1 starter, don't mess with it. I mean, because that's what you see a lot of times is they come in and put this guy in because it's the 3rd series, and then the first guy comes back in after that, and all of a sudden the game plan's off, the timing's off.
His rhythm's gone.
And they can't get it back. So keep it going, win the game. Don't have to give it. It's about winning the game, not about getting somebody else playing time.
But as you say, we've seen other teams do that through the years. It's going to be Steve Spurrier used to do it play to play at times. So we don't know how Butch Jones is going to handle it. What do you guys think they're going to do? Do you think it's going to be
Butch said how he's going to handle it. He said he's going to go with the flow of the game over the I need to play both guys that deserve to play. So Butch Jones has said he understands that they need to be very efficient. They need to take advantage of their possessions. Georgia Tech will limit your possessions by running the ball, huddling up. So Butch Jones is taking, we all offseason we've talked 2 quarterbacks. You might only see 1.
Okay, very good. Guys, I appreciate it. Thanks to all of you. We will see you every Saturday at 10:30 on Fox 43, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock on the Sports Source on WATE 6. Thanks for joining us. See you next week.
This has been a presentation of Fox 43 Sports.